Peace and love, everyone. It's Ayoka, and welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time, definitely hit the subscribe button at the bottom, and feel free to send any questions, advice, anything at all to Ahyokabey@gmail.com. So let's get right into it. So it's been a little while, you guys. I'm so sorry. It's probably been like a good 3 to 4 weeks since I posted a video, but it's been so much going on, y'all already know. But I have not been being lazy. So your girl has been working. So the few videos back, I posted about my A4V, and I wanted to, just follow up with that. Also let you guys know some other things that I'm doing so that you can be studying and, looking up this information as well. So last time I reached out to you guys, it was about the A4V. I let you know that I had sent in my accepted for value on probably about 20 different bills. I sent them to 3 different locations, and I followed the process on how to do that. So here's the format that I used, verbatim, except of course where it's blue, where their name, I put my name, but I did do the UCC 1-308, and I had it at that 45-degree angle, and then on the back I endorsed that. And when I did that, and I sent it to these 3 locations on the back, it has to go to the Technical Support Division in Pennsylvania, the Internal Revenue in Ogden, and the Criminal Investigations one in Kentucky. So sending your, so you make the copies of your presentment statements, aka your bills, and you send those in. If you have yet to hear about all of that, go to my latest video, or not latest, but go about 2 videos back. Hit the subscribe button, and you'll be able to see all my videos, and you'll see the one that says, must watch A4V process. So I did that process. I did hear back from 1 out of those 3 departments. However, the letter that I got, I'm 100% sure it was more to kind of scare me than anything. If I was not standing on my square, if I did not know this information to be fact, what I received for them probably would have scared me and made me stop in my tracks. But because I know this is solid information, I just disregarded that. So out of those medical bills, school loans, just straight up like payday loans, my car notes, I even sent utility bills. I sent all of those together, and I have yet to receive still, because I sent those back in October. It's now December. I have not received any of those bills or presentments again. So that lets me know that something is definitely working. Now I'm going to send more presentment statements out, but this time I'm going to send a letter of intent. So anytime you send a letter to the government, you do want to put a letter of intent, basically telling them what to do. You're asking them to perform, so you want to tell them exactly what you want them to do. I also heard to always send a certified copy of your birth certificate in any correspondence you send to them. I believe the reason you do that is because your birth certificate states that you are a state citizen, that you are, that you're born here, and you're basically reminding them of that. So I am going to do that with this presentment statement packet that I sent. So here, I've already, this is a general one, and basically what it's going to do is explain to the person who receives your presentment statement, or your A4V rather, it's going to explain to them what they're doing that's pretty much fraud, what you have done, what you know. It puts the clauses, the statutes, things like that in here. And I believe it even mentions the, oh, it does. It mentions the House Joint Resolution 192. These are things, so basically this is your evidence. You know, this is, and then also in here, it will tell them order and instructions to the treasurer officer. So it's telling them, first, you took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution. It tells them, you know, that once, this is what I wish I would have done in my first A4V, is told them to then contact, you are further instructed to notify all related agencies, courts, corporations that these accounts have been set off by my private credit, settled in full, and closed lawfully by principal creditor. So I wish I would have done that, because that's the dilemma that I'm in right now, is not knowing, you know, like the agencies, like my car loan, for instance. I did do an A4V on that. So I'm like, why are they still calling me? And I feel like if I would have instructed them to give my car leasing agency notification of this, maybe I wouldn't be worrying about it. So that's why it's important to do a letter of intent in good faith, and, you know, always be respectful. You know, it is my honor to, you know, write to you today. You know, things like that, because they are, you know, they're doing their job, and you're thankful that they're doing their job. In commercial honor, you would say. So that's one thing. So just kind of following up with you guys on that process. I am going to send out another round of bills. I've got 2 bills. Literally, I've gotten 2 bills that are not utility bills. So, you know, I get my regular utility bills each month. That's a whole nother process for your bills to be paid or prepaid or what have you. But I'm in the mail. I'm only getting utility bills. I just received, I think it was a medical bill, a very recent medical bill. Very recent, like October. I had to take my son to the emergency room. And then a school loan that maybe this one I didn't A4V last time. These are the only 2 bills outside of utility bills that I've received. October, November is now December. No, I sent this September, October, November. It's now December. So 4 months. I think that's telling me something, because I used to get, you get the stack of bills and you just throw it all to the side. Yeah, I don't get none of that. But these 2 that I just got, I'm going to do the A4V process, send my letter of intent this time, and, go ahead and throw in a certified copy of my birth certificate. Why not? Now, one thing that I want to point out, and anybody that's watching, speak to this, please. You can email me or email me. Is that when I did this process back in September, I had not, let me think. I did have my nationality card that I got from Ahyokabey Publications website. I did get the nationality card from there, but that is all I had did. I didn't do the judicial proclamation. I have not done that process, and of course, so it was not done when I did this A4V. Nothing is on record for me at the time in September when I processed this A4V. So, you know, I'm looking to see how things are going to play out. And what I mean by that is my birth certificate has not been authenticated. I have not filed my UCC Financial Statement. I have not done a security agreement. You know, none of those things. So I have heard since my A4V, different videos I've watched, different sources and things, that, you know, you have to have all that stuff done before you can do an A4V. And even in that cover letter, you know, he's saying, you know, I've done this, I am now a secure party creditor. I'm not a secure party creditor. I'm working on that process, but I'm not there yet. So I was always curious if, you know, this A4V process has anything to do with you being a secure party creditor. It seems like it would have to be. This is my journey. This is how it's working out for me. So although I've heard that you have to have all those things in place, I did not have those things in place when I did my A4V back in September, and I'm not receiving any of those bills. So I'm wondering if it works anyway, you know. But I like to cover all my bases. So today's video, we are going to discuss a few things that I've done to start my process of becoming the secure party creditor. The secure party creditor is the top. That's where you want to be. Right now, you are a trustee of the account. You don't have any authorization over the account. You want that status, because that's the status where you're untouchable. And you can write the court a nice little letter for even trying you. That's where I'm going. So in my process to become a secure party creditor, as well as change my status, because right now my status is I'm a minor, you know, ward of the state. I'm in their jurisdiction. I'm a legal fiction. I'm sleep. I'm a minor, so that means that I cannot, you know, speak for myself. That is basically what's on record. You must update your status and put them on notice that you've updated your status, so that they know how to approach, or basically that they cannot approach. So some information came across to me about your U.S. passport being a way to update your status. In the way, so you can go look for this video yourself. I watch it, like I've watched it since I've gotten it like 3 or 4 times. And then he even allows you to print out the transcript of his video, which I did, because it seemed like it was a lot of really good information. And he starts off the video saying, you know, people have done all these like crazy ways to update their status, when here's a simple way that he's done, and he's proven it to work, because he's doing it, which is simply getting your passport. So and he explains it very well. I brought up his video so I don't have to go through all the information he told me, but basically there's a spot on your birth certificate, which is, this is on your passport application, which seems to be like the most important, like basically the only thing that they're even looking for, is this little box right here where it asks you if you're a U.S. citizen, yes or no. You are not a U.S. citizen. You being a U.S. citizen puts you in their jurisdiction of the United States Corporation. The United States Corporation, just U.S. Now, all of us are familiar with the United States of America. The United States of America is the land from which we are born. The United States Corporation is the entity that they created in the jurisdiction that they're putting us under, that allows them to victimize us and violate our rights the way that we do, the way that they do, because we've basically given them authorization to do so. We basically went into contract with them at the signing of the birth certificate. Sadly, our mother gave us over, and the birth certificate is basically a surety. That gets deep too. I'll cite some videos and stuff like that as they come to me, but so I'm gonna try it all out, covering all the bases. So that's what I did. I went in and applied for my first application. This is not my application. This is actually the transcript that I printed out from the how to get on the don't detain or do not detain list. That's the name of the video that I got this information from, because apparently when you get this information, so you're gonna mark on there that you are not a U.S. citizen. So because you're not a U.S. citizen, you by default are a state citizen, and that also is visible on your birth certificate, because on your birth certificate it says state of, and then you were born here. I'm a state citizen. You are a state citizen. We are all state citizens of the United States of America. So because you are a state citizen, you are now no longer in their jurisdiction. So when they run your name, it's going to say do not approach, do not stop, do not detain, all those things, lifetime conceal and carry or something like that. Like, it basically is telling the police, leave you alone, and that's what you want. And so yeah, and because of this, you're saying that you are not a U.S. citizen. That's updating their system that you are a state citizen. So it at that point has been updated. Your status has been changed from U.S. citizen in their jurisdiction to just violate every right you could have, down to taking your children, to a state citizen where you're covered by the United States of America Constitution. Now, okay, I'm gonna get to that conversation here in just a second. I had someone email me a great question, and since then I've been trying to figure out, how to wrap my mind around it. So the next thing that I'm going to show you guys, so I showed you my A4V that I'm going to process on the only 2 bills that I've received in the last 4 months. And then I showed you my passport. I applied for that today. So about the application process. So I went online and filled out my application and printed it out. So it was printed out just like how you saw on that other one. It printed out with the words on it. You can get a passport book. It's like $110, or you can get just the card, which is $30. That's what I did. And then in the video, he says to get it expedited, which I was going to do. I was going to get it expedited because he says basically them updating this information, that's everything. You need to be recognized as a state citizen so that you have your rights back. He suggested getting it expedited so that they do that very quickly, because if you don't expedite it, they'll just take forever. So I went up there ready to pay $60 to get it expedited. However, when you get there, so it would have been a total of $90. But when you get there, you have to pay $15 for the photo picture. So if you don't already have a passport photo, it's $15 for them to get one. And then the post office actually charges a fee to process the application. Their fee is $35. So it's the $30 for the actual passport. Then it's a fee if you want to have it expedited, and the expedite is like 1 to 3 weeks. and then the fee for the picture, and then the fee for them to process it. It would have been a total of $141. I was like, can't do all that. So I just went ahead and got regular shipping. Regular shipping is from 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm a little bummed out that now, you know, forever away that I'm gonna get that, but I'm gonna rest that it's on its way. So be prepared for that. Oh, the other thing is you need your driver's license or some type of ID identification, and you need your birth certificate. So luckily I was there to also send off my birth certificates to be authenticated, or I wouldn't have even had my birth certificate, because on the video he didn't say that, and then on the website it didn't say that. But I mean, of course, maybe it should have been implied, but I was like, oh, well, let me go get it. Well, the thing is, she actually took my birth certificate. So the birth certificate actually is sent off with your application. So I don't have it now. So I was supposed to send off my 3 birth certificates to be authenticated, but I didn't know she was going to take one of my birth certificates. So now I only have 2. So now I'm trying to think if I'm going to have to wait like a month to finish the authentication process, because now I don't have the copies that I need for my authentication. But I just wanted to let you guys know that, so you would be prepared when you go in, have your birth certificate and a photo ID, and be ready to pay up for, you know, check to see what the fees are. Not every post office has the passport process, so check before you go. You're looking all silly. And also make sure you schedule. So luckily I'll be on point and I'll look up stuff, or I call before I just pop up anywhere. Okay, and you should always do that. Always send notice before, like, let your information, let your documents precede you. Always send notice or something before you actually show up, so they know how to handle you when you come in. Okay, but anyway, so I had looked this stuff up ahead of time to know that you have to schedule your passport process. So do that. Don't just pop up at the post office like, oh, I want to turn in this application, because when I was actually there yesterday, this girl did it, and I know she felt all kind of crunchy, because he said, oh, did you schedule your appointment? She was like, no. He was like, well, do you have all the paperwork? I don't know why he asked her that. Do you have all the paperwork? She was like, yep, I filled out my application. I got this, I got that. He was like, all right, so go ahead and go online and schedule your appointment. I was like, he wrong. He probably had her thinking he was about to just do the process. So they're not playing. You do have to schedule an appointment to do your passport. So just go on the website or call them to verify that that's what it is in Oklahoma. Okay, so that's the passport process. Any questions? Holla at me. Moving right along. Okay, so I dropped one. Okay, so this process is the birth certificate authentication process. So you want to have your birth certificate authenticated. I heard 3 copies. I just heard 4 copies. I don't know. I'm going to send 3 because I got 3. All right. April Lejeune, L-A-J-U-N. I'll also chime into a few of her videos. You can look on YouTube at April Lagoon, like birth certificate authentication. She does something about TDA accounts, which the TDA accounts is the utilities and how to get your utilities like prepaid or whatever. And she does all of that process. So, you know, I hear from different people who do the process and just kind of see where they line up, and everything that they say, that's the same. That's what I go with. So everything she's saying is pretty much adding up. The controversy is just how many copies that you need to get authenticated. So the authentication process is a process or apostle. So authentication or apostle process is the process that documents go through to be authenticated that the signatures are legit. So there's a thing called the Hague Convention or the non-Hague Convention. Look that up. It kind of talks about this authentication process and like where and why, you know, you got to do it. Some states are non-Hague and some are, you know, and it all has to do with the authentication and everything like that. First thing you need to know is you need to get a certified copy of your birth certificate. So you have to go to the state in which you were born and ask for a certified copy. Now, I live in Oklahoma, but I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So what I had to do is I called up there to, you know, like I said, I'll be calling and asking. And I heard what she had to say. And then, because you have to go in person, but I'm here. So by mail, you can do this thing called Vital Check. Vitalcheck.com, I believe, is where I went. And I ordered my 3 certified copies of my birth certificate. On the site, it asks why. I told it that I was, you know, birth certificate, and then authentication. It's a drop down option I selected for authentication process. Then it went on to tell me what the process is to authenticate my documents for Michigan. Every state can be different. So you want to look up the information for your state. Regardless of the information that someone tells you, you need to go look it up for your specific state. It could be different. So it gave me the process step by step to authenticate my process. So this is real. This is not a game. This is not for fake. You can go on your state registration and see the authentication process. So it gave me the address of where I need to send my birth certificate to be authenticated at the state level and receive a seal. That's seal number 1. Seal number 2 is going to come from the federal level. The federal level, so when you send your birth certificates to be authenticated at the state level, you want to send a second envelope, a self-addressed envelope, pre-postage and everything, so that once they authenticate your documents, they can mail it back to you. And they don't want to do no work, so don't make them do no work or you won't get yours. So once they send me back mine, and I got a priority mail for them to send it back. I did regular mail going out. This is $6 going out. The priority is like $20. So that way, you know, they're not, it's not taking a long time or whatever. Because if they know what you're doing, they, you know, they can just play around and stuff gets lost and all this and all that. So I am going to put my self-addressed stamp on here. When I get this back, I will then send those copies with another self-addressed envelope pre-stamped to the office of the seal, office of the Great Seal, at the federal level. Used to, you would send this to an address in Washington, D.C. That has been changed to an address in Virginia. Now, you can go to travel.state.gov. This is a federal site. And I think I typed in the word authentication in the search because there was nothing on the tabs that really spoke to me. But when I typed in authentication in the search engine, I'm pretty sure I selected the first option that came up, and it's going to be the authentication requirements. Again, proof that there is a reason you authenticate and there's something going on. It tells you the process. It tells you what you need to do, and then it gives you that Virginia address for you to send your documents to be authenticated. Once you get those authenticated things back, sorry, let me slow it down. So In my, oh, real quick, never mind, I'm not even gonna go there. So, when you send your document to be authenticated, you want to fill out an application for authentication. I'm gonna do it like this because it does have my actual information on it. This is actually the copy I'm gonna send to them. Request for authentication services. This is called like a DS 4194 form. So if you just type in DS-4194 on, let's say, Google search engine, this request for authentication service should pop up for you. I've seen it a bunch of different places. Now, so you would send your birth certificates. You would send your application for it to be authenticated. Your money order. So in Michigan, it's just $1 to authenticate my document. Here's my money order, and I have 3, so $3. Some states like California or Florida, I heard it was like $60. So I'm winning. So I'm sending off that. Now, because I heard that you always want to send a letter of intent, I did. And I said, it is an honor to write you today. I am respectfully requesting that you authenticate in accordance with Minnesota Rule 220. This letter was sent in good faith. Thank you. That was verbatim something that I heard someone else wrote when they did this, and they also sent in the request for authentication. So I was a little thrown off, like, if you have the request for authentication, why would you need to have a letter of intent asking? But hey, I'm just covering all bases. Y'all know how I do. So I'm gonna do that, send in my request, send in my money order and my stuff, and I'm gonna wait about 2 weeks for my documents to come back authenticated. Then I'll send them out federal, wait for those to come back authenticated. Once my documents have the 2 seals, I'm learning, ladies and gentlemen, so if I'm wrong, please update me about what I'm about to say. So once I get my 2 seals, state, federal, on my authenticated birth certificate, I will then fill out this lovely UCC Financial Statement. This is the statement. This is the statement that takes the ownership and puts it on record with the UCC. And the UCC is, you need to study that. That's like your Bible. You need to study that. I need to study it. If you know where I can get it online, free PDF, let me know. Or if you got the book and you're done reading it, send it my way. But the UCC Financial Statement, on this document, you basically write what you own. So when I'm ready to send this off, I will be happy to put down my birth certificate as something that I own, and my truck that I'm leasing that I own, basically putting it into my trust, putting it into my name. And this document cannot be undone. So you send this UCC Financial 1, there's a UCC 3, and then there's a UCC A1. All this information, again, by studying the UCC United Commercial Codes, you will learn why and what those things are. But so basically, once I get my documents authenticated, I'm gonna send out this financial statement along with a security agreement, which I did not print that off, but it's basically telling this Secretary of Treasury that, you know, I'm a secure party creditor, because now I have ownership of my my title, my birth certificate, and, you know, approach me as such, pretty much. Put that on record, or what have you. So that is that. So that's that. So here, by the end of this month, here in over the next few weeks, I'll be getting those documents and things back, and I will keep you guys updated on what I find, what I do. The next thing, since I've got this stuff on its way, is working on my truck and the lease for that. What I believe I'm gonna do is just draft up verbiage about I'll draft up verbiage about how you know, a bank can't own property. I'll draft up something about how you know, the financial institution purchased the car from the car lot, and now I'm paying the bank, but the bank can't own property, and essentially the truck is paid for by the bank. So you know, so it should be, you know, the car's paid for. Why am I still paying for it? Also, hoping that my status getting updated, that I can't be taxed or, you know, made to pay debt. You know, those are a couple of other, you know, cards I can pull out. So I'm looking, you know, for exactly what I need to do. I've also heard of doing a 1099. I will be finding out more about the 1099 process here soon. And the 1099 process is basically, as a business, you are a legal entity, you are a business, your straw man is a business. You can get your expenses back. So you would you know, you fill out the 1099, and on your tax return you should receive, I think, 60% of, you know, what you're asking. So that information I'll look more into. If you know, please let me know. And then one last, I'll leave you guys with a little question or comment that I got in my email. And he asked, you know, knowing what we know about contract law, you know, the Constitution, you know, us not being a witness to that, how does that have anything to do with us? Furthermore, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship signed by Morocco and the United States back in 1876, if I'm not mistaken. That's the treaty that gave the United States the authorization to do commerce on our land, basically saying, you know, we were not a party to that contract. We were not a witness to that contract. So, and the parties of that contract have deceased. How is that still a running contract? And I was like, good question. Now, for me, in order to like really answer that question, I'm gonna have to reread the Constitution. It may say in there until the end of days. You know, it may say something in there that says, you know, that answers the question. But initially I told him that because they are our ancestors, maybe it applies in that way. Similar to how, like, if your mom or dad like wrote a contract or something like that, and then they die, like, you know, wouldn't that be left up to you to uphold? Let's say, I don't know, you know, so I don't know. So I'm posing that question to you guys just to kind of see what your thoughts are. It definitely made me think. I just feel like, you know, we're covered because those were, you know, those are our ancestors that wrote that, if you are Aboriginal to the land. But that is today's video. I will get back to you guys here shortly once I get some more information, get some stuff back. I also have sent off for my DNA to 23andMe. That is important to know, not so much where 23andMe thinks that my ancestors are from, but more for the other information that they give, which I'll get back to you guys once I get mine to tell you what that actually is. Somehow that information from my DNA kit can be read in a way to further authenticate and validate my lineage, furthermore giving me ties to inheritance. You know, we working it out. We're gonna see where all these roads lead up to. I know I'm royalty. I know I am not a slave to be, you know, under oppression until the day I die, stressing about stuff I don't even care about. I don't care about bills and all this stuff like that. I eat fruits and vegetables anyway. So one of these days, be a raw vegan, so I won't need all that. You know, I mean, I might want to flat iron my hair or something. You know, we'll get it all figured out. But yeah, y'all. So just tune in. Like I said, Ahyokabey@gmail.com if you have any other questions or just want to contact, or if there's something you want me to speak on, or even just some words of encouragement. I like that too. So signing off. Peace and love.